I want to talk a little bit about the Smith-Mundt Act because it was modernized by Obama a few months later after all this had begun to remove the protections preventing organizations like yourself from psyoping American citizens. Obama, Jones, and McCain got, like you said, the keys to the kingdom. And that is, documented in an article that you sent me. But, how do you think he was able to get away with that? And how does that, once that happened, let's walk forward to today and what we're seeing, because you're seeing all the stuff that the fake news, you're seeing Mueller indicting Russians for psyoping to help President Trump win. This is all coming back around. Again, I see it as a case of the left is pointing the finger at us, but meanwhile, these other three fingers are pointing right back at them. They're projecting on the conservative movement, on the president, what they've been doing all along and what they initiated, really, with the help of people like yourself.
Okay. So let's take the Russian dossier, for example, right?
Right.
Something everybody's concerned about, everybody knows about. Okay, you know somebody, we think we understand some of the low-level players that were involved, Stroke, Page, people like that. Who has the power to control and organize these people? General Jones was personal friends with the FSB, with the National Security Advisor, the Russian National Security Advisor, the head of FSB in 2010. He's on video saying that. In 2014, he's on video saying that. I can only imagine, and that person's still in office right now, right? How would you get someone at the top levels to do these things? Well, you would have the National Security, the National Security Advisor certainly fits that. And the fact that his company, his privately owned company, family owned company, very small, very contained, the fact that they have the ability, the resources, so you've got means, motive, and opportunity. Well, they have the means because literally I built it for them and made it commercially available. As you can see in the flyers that I sent you, and I actually updated that link, the article that I wrote with the McCain showing about where I put the snapshots of the ShadowNet flyers. I put screenshots right above those of the side groups and Wikistrat proposal that they had given to the Trump organization through Davis, through Manafort, all lifelong, all 10, 20-year relationships with McCain, right?
And Podesta.
And Podesta, right? So these people, whom I believe were completely setting Trump up, created this proposal. If you look at that proposal and you look at mine, they're identical.
Right.
Immediately, when I looked at that in the New York Times, I said, that's my baby, right? I mean, I just recognized it immediately. I think putting that there next to each other so you guys can go take a look at it, you're going to look at that and go, oh, yeah, these are exactly the same. Now, you've got two people. You've got one person that owns one company that has a product that is exactly the same as another product from another company that he's on the board of directors of. Wouldn't that be like the president of Pepsi being on the board of directors of Coke?
Absolutely.
I mean, no sense.
Yeah. Big conflict of interest there.
Now, this is my opinion. I believe from everything that I see that the database application I built called ISI is actually SciGroup. Get it? ISI, SciGroup. I came up with ISI. I believe that the ShadowNet is Wikistrat. And they do these. They have a history of doing this. We developed an application called ClearForce, which was the next generation of, and I spoke about that on your last show, how
right.
ClearForce combines the ShadowNet and ISI social media collection, and it combines that with your travel history, your finances, your criminal history, real time, and predictably determines whether or not you're likely to steal or leak. And you could lose a job for it because a computer determines you're likely to leak. So they turned ClearForce, the application, into ClearForce, the company, right? So ISI as, and this is just, it needs to be investigated, I think. I'm looking at ISI as being SciGroup in that same way. And the same people are also connected to that application, to that. If side group, right?
Right.
Thinking the same thing with Wikistrat as well.
So you talk about there needing to be an investigation. You told me when we spoke that you'd filed a complaint with the IG's office a couple of weeks ago. Have you heard anything since we last spoke?
I spoke actually a couple of days ago. I called the IG, and because I've moved since then too, and I'm like, if they sent something, I may not get it. So the guy told me, okay, go back to the site and resubmit. So I resubmitted it, and I went back to the original thing where I posted what I had done online, and I updated it with a screenshot of my new fresh complaint saying, this is, basically a recap of something I submitted a month ago. I want to know what's happening. In the past, an IG complaint would be responded to in a matter of a couple of days. This is over a month. This is coming up on a month right now, and I haven't heard anything back from the IG. I haven't heard anything back from Devin Nunes. I haven't heard anything back from Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is going crazy, calling in people to testify.
Yeah.
I've been begging him to.
That sounds like a big distraction, frankly. They know the Mueller report is a big fat goose egg. Heck, Amazon.com already has it listed to be shipped on March 26th. It's already done. It's written. That's why the mainstream media is not talking about it. This is just what the story you're telling. And then, of course, some of the things that happened to you. I mean, I just want to make the audience aware, because this is what you shared with me earlier. You had lost your job when you were working in Korea because you refused to give administrative access to a classified network to somebody very high up in the government food chain, someone of a GS-14 level, which is pretty darn high. You filed a complaint the next day, and the $12 million contract was modified that you were working on after, and then the requirement for your job was removed. As soon as you were gone, they then modified the contract and rewrote your job back in. And so you were even denied whistleblower status, which really flies in the face of what a whistleblower is supposed to be able to do. You were denied that status to make that complaint, and you weren't even covered under any sort of whistleblower protection. What happened in that circumstance?
Well, and keep in mind, this was done to me by the people that I'm talking about. This was done to me by the people that are in charge, right? By at the highest levels. This was done by General Jones, Jim Jones. His office is right next to Jim's. He knew about this. He had to have, or he's not a very good boss, right?
Right.
I had been dealing with several issues with him involving trying to force me to do things that were outside of the regulations or laws. And they wanted me to give this guy administrative access. I refused to do it. And they modified the contract, removed my position, and replaced me. And these are the